Good morning, everyone. My name is Anil Bharadwaj. I'm from WealthBox. We are organizing the event called Demystifying Parental Pandemic, and it's going to be addressed by Dr. Ravishankar Sharma. It's my pleasure to welcome you all on behalf of WealthBox. Thank you. Our kids are facing challenging times, but do you know that unknowingly we are also contributing to it? And the issues are very serious, and it is a pandemic in itself. Don't worry, let us hear it out from the expert. How to demystify the parental pandemic. It's my honor to welcome eminent pediatrician from Bangalore, Dr.Capt.Ravishankar Sharma, who has 38 years of experience, rich experience in the profession, and he is a ex-HOD of ESI Indiranagar Pediatric Department, and also he has served in Indian Army as a captain, and he is a visiting consultant for Chinmaya Mission Hospital in Indiranagar. So he is the right person to clarify everything. Over to you, sir.
Good morning, dear parents and friends. At the outset, let me thank Mr. Anil Bharadwaj, MD CEO of WealthBox, and Mr. Jeffrey Matthews of Nippon Mutual Fund Limited for giving me an opportunity to share some of my pleasant thoughts on parenting and child rearing. Parenting, dear friends, is an art. It's a fantastic and it's a fantastic journey of life. It is also a journey of trial and error. It is tough, it's a difficult job, and it's a challenging job for anybody. It involves a lot of time. At times, we always say it's a 20-year-old project. It involves a lot of energy, it involves a lot of efforts, but it's also a journey of continuous learning, unlearning, relearning, and most importantly, growing along with your child. But it is also a very fantastic and heartwarming and soothing journey down your memory lane when you log into your child's past. Their childhood pranks, their temper tantrums, their academic achievements, performance in both literary and sport world, the short and long picnics and excursions that you enjoyed together, the ecstasy of building sand castles on seashores and beaches, attending family functions like marriages, birthday parties. Oh, the list is long. The story is non-stop and continuous, but nevertheless, it's very fun. A child's growth and development is very, very interesting. Now, the first slide. It's a joyful journey of life. It's a journey you will cherish throughout your life. It's a child's growth and development. You know, it's very interesting for everybody. By the time you realize that they are young, they are already overgrown. They have overgrown you. Their pants and shoes sizes purchased just last month, they seem to be already short. You start wondering what's happening with them. They learn everything super fast. Their absorption and assimilation rate is tremendous. They absorb everything thrown at them like a sponge which throws anywhere it absorbs water. They absorb everything super fast. They are not interested in your expensive toys and clothes. They are interested in their own fantasy world. They take you as their role model. They don't do what you say, but they always do what you do. That is why baking up a good hardware is very, very crucial before you start programming your own child. It's amazing to see how fluently and effortlessly a 3-year-old child or a 4-year-old girl, they perform in front of large gatherings by singing excellent songs, narrating excellent dancing, playing flute, guitar, mridangam, effortlessly. How can you produce such prodigies, child prodigies? In all these activities, mind you, friends, they try to look into your eyes. They search for clues, both hidden clues and open clues. They appreciate, they want appreciations, they want smiles from you, they want facial gestures from you. These things, they are the things which are going to increase their self-esteem. That prepares them to face the brave new world comfortably. And that's how the parenting should be done. Parenting or child rearing is the process of promoting and supporting the physical, emotional, social, intellectual development of a child from infancy to adulthood. That's why I said it's a 20-year-old project, 20-year project. Parenting refers to the intricacies of raising a child and not exclusively for a biological relationship. Biologically, you are maybe a father and mother, but nevertheless, that's much more beyond just giving birth to your own children. What is the importance of parenting? When you look at this slide, a good education begins at home. Home is the temple for a child to learn things. Comparing home with school, a good education always for any child, it begins at home. And mother, who else but mother is the best teacher. Home is the foundation. Home is the foundation on which child learns everything. Happy parents raise happy children. Children take their parents as their role models. Parents, for that is the reason they should offer unconditional love and support. What are the pillars of this foundation of home? Yes, there are so many pillars of this foundation. They are love, support, care, guidance, behavior, attitude, values. Whatever it is, the temperament, the child mimics their parents. They accept them, and that's why they develop their personalities based upon their parents. That is why they acquire the abilities to become responsible, caring adults and citizens of the very persons who are most intensely involved with them, that is their parents. Good parenting is more important than a good school for the academic success of a child. The academic performance of a child depends on the quality of parental involvement. That's what I was saying. Kids learn values, manners, disciplines, everything from their home, which helps them succeed in the future. What are the benefits? Are there any benefits of parenting? Of course, there are benefits. Parenting is that which resists temptations to be goalpost. By goalpost, what I mean? I mean, it's not a hockey goal or a football goal or a cricket match wherein once you achieve a victory, this thing is over. No, it's not parents always have the temptations to become goalposts, which should not be. Because playing for fun, playing for learning is more important than the end result. It means offering positive discipline that keeps kids on the right path. It helps children learn responsibility and makes happier family units. What are the benefits that they offer? Better understanding of feelings, emotional development, discover motivators, developing strong relationships, and ultimate analysis, developing good character. Habits, parents, they guide through their guidance. Children, they develop habits, they develop different hobbies, which will take them long way in their life. Whether they are academically oriented or oriented in any other activities, this is the good foundation that they are going to get because of this. Is there any parenting pattern? Say, what kind of a parent are you? What kind of a parent are you means you belong to which category? Can you really categorize a parent? Of course you can categorize. Long back, this has been 4 types of parenting styles have been identified. They are authoritarian parents, authoritative parents, permissive parent, and uninvolved parent. Authoritarian, you can see the photograph. Child is standing in front of a disciplined one who is with his folded hands. He is giving him some authoritative commands. This is a father and a son. In authoritative, it's an equal participation from both father and the son. It could be permissive. Permissive means, yeah, I care a lot about you, but I'm not at all bothered about you. I don't have any control over you. Uninvolved is again. So they are the different 4 types of parenting styles, which is always, we can go more about this thing. Warm and accepting, and demanding and undemanding. An authoritative parent is always warm. He's accepting the child. He's too very demanding. See, there can be strict parents, there can be disciplined parents, there can be liberal parents, there can be abusive parents, there can be punishing parents. Yes, but all of them, they always belong to these particular 4 groups of parenting. We should know exactly what they are doing. See, for example, what is the meaning of what I say? See, if you plot them over axis, x-axis, on x-axis, we have warmth, and affection. And on a y-axis, you get control and care. You can take it as control and care. Where there is high control and high care, it belongs to authoritative parent, like nurturing, affectionate, sets boundaries, disciplines through guidance, and he is open for all kinds of communication. The parents are open for all kinds of communication with the children. This is the best model of a parent. Let us come to authoritarian parent. Who is an authoritarian parent? Authoritarian, has got very good control, he has got very good over the situation, but their warmthness is low, because they are strict parents, they are inflexible parents, they have high expectations. Maybe an IAS officer, police officer, army officer disciplines. He disciplines the child much more than what he loves them. Whereas let's come to permissive parent, where they love their children very much, their warmth and care is too much, but nevertheless their control over their children is very poor. They are nurturing, they are affectionate. Few are but inconsistent boundaries. The boundaries that they set, the limits that they set for their children are few, and they are inconsistent. They are not consistent and they are not firm. That's why they take pleasure in playing the role of a friend rather than a parent. They want to be friendly towards their children, not parenting. There is the last graph is definitely one which is having a lot of no control and no warmth also, and no discipline also. They are totally uninvolved parents. They are emotionally detached for whatever may be the reason. They are self-absorbed. They are more oriented in their their career. They are more ambitious, inconsistent, but there are absolutely no boundaries. The child can have any amount of freedom thing, and there is little interaction with the child. You obviously, who is the best on this thing. Matching infant and there are patterns, like a pattern, like this pattern. There are so many patterns, and this pattern, see, there are so many kinds of day-to-day life. In all the day-to-day life, we always see some patterning, typifying, and learning. How do you match the skills of the parent and the skill of the infant? There can be a gifted child, there can be a child with temper tantrum, there can be a creative child, there can be a problem child, there can be a selfish child, there can be a depressed child. Depending upon the parent, the child can definitely develop all these things. So let's go into the details of this. What is it actually this happening? So strategic approach to infant parent skills. Is there an approach? Yes. Is it a strategic approach? Yes, it has to be strategic. It has to be, though parenting is an art, when I said, it can also be scientifically, because you can always typify, you can always, depending upon the situations in life, strategy is more important than anything else, because strategy involves the environment. Environment could be both internal environment and an external environment. Externally, internally, what is the strength of the person, of the baby, versus what are the external challenges and situations. Systemic strategic approach is necessary, as it has to be both child specific and also parent specific. Parents having more than one child know this better, because it is not its child. Why we say child specific? Because the same rule cannot be applied to a father and to a son or to a daughter simultaneously in the same manner, in the same length, in the same frequency. That is why, so much so, even twins also differ markedly. Though they are both born into the same blood, same parents, same father and mother, they enormously differ. Their differences could be in perception, how they perceive life, how they perceive their parent. There can be learning abilities. One child can be totally fast, one can be totally slow. Emotions, how they are emotionally disposed. Gender, it may be dependent on different for a child, for a boy or for a girl. What are their temperaments? The temperaments also, there can be vast differences. There can be likes and dislikes, food preferences. Sit on a table, the daughter wants curd rice, the son hates curds, they are interested in junk food, the daughter is interested in only vegetables. And this is a common thing which we always see in every family. Same solution or approach cannot fit all children and also to the same child over a period of time, because the same situation, the same solution, what you have thought of can be different for the same child over a period of time, because he has grown now. His vocabulary has increased, his horizon has expanded. You cannot fit the same formula into the same problem or a different problem in a same setup. Because of this, the approaches, the strategies have to be customized, they have to be tailor-made, they have to be unique, They have to be situational and person specific. Like the relationship between a mother and a father towards their sons and daughters can be totally a person specific. It could be situation because it changes. It's ever dynamic and it's ever changing. That's what I want to say. Let's get into the parenting. Parenting as such, parenting, the sign of great parenting is not the child's behavior, but the sign of truly great parenting is the parent's behavior, which is much more important. Let's come to the different aspects of parenting. Physical development. Right from the time when the child is born, the mother feeds the baby. Breast milk is the best milk, best food for the baby. WHO insists that first 6 months of life, mother has to exclusively breastfeed the child. There need not be even a sips of water, sips of any other fluid apart from mother's milk. That gives the best kind of a rollicking start for any child to come up in life. Then they slowly start attending more and more of maturity. They start having different reflexes, motor development will be there, sensory development of the brain. We all, when they come to us, when we examine, we always find out what is the height of the baby, what is the weight of the baby, what is the body metabolic index, basal metabolic rate, and things like that. Everything we have based upon certain set principles. Like for example, in the baby, we have a formula for the weight. Weight always, whatever is the birth weight, it doubles by 5 months. The weight triples by 11 months. It quadruples by 2 years. Like simultaneously, the height of a baby by usually at the birth is around 50 centimeters. At the time of 1 year, it's about 75 centimeters. At the age of 4 years, it's around 100 centimeters. Same thing with BMI. BMI, if it is more than 26, more than 25, we call it as obesity. We always chart, depending upon the baby's condition, we always take out the mental development, emotional development, and growth and development should always go hand in hand. If the adage is always there that good sound mind is always in a sound body, so always physical development should be given the most important aspect of parenting. Academics, let's go to academics. Academics is school curriculum. Nowadays, the parents even spend lakhs and lakhs for an admission into a prestigious kindergarten school, and even at the LKG level itself. That means the amount of importance that they attach for the academics is very, very important, because without academics, children, definitely their growth will be incomplete. In that case, how are the child is doing their homework? In all these things, the parent has to show their involvement. What is the performance in the this thing when he brings back his progress card from this thing? Is he making any progress? All those things you have to take interest. Only when you take interest, when you follow the child's performance, then only there is always a scope for the improvement. Otherwise, if you are not involved, academics, it goes for a 6. What are the relationships that you have? Every relationship, it could be an attachment, it could be interpersonal relationship, and in the interpersonal relationship, is the relationship good with his own colleagues, good with his own, friends, neighbors, and teachers, and all his friends and enemies, how easy getting any enemies and things like that. These are the most important aspects of a relationship. Parents have to take a lot of precautions, a lot of care while developing and nurturing these kind of relationships. Emotions, entertainment, education, emotions and entertainment, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy, we all know. So entertainment, that means play. Outdoor activity, fun activity has to be made. It has to be always attended by the child's parents. Nutrition, needless to say, nutrition, nourishment is paramount important, because a healthy mind happens in a healthy body. So for that, nutrition means everybody knows we have to have all kind of a balanced, healthy food. You should not give a lot of junk food, and there has to be proteins, carbohydrates, fat in all amount equal. I mean, in correct proportions, it should be there. It should have a lot of vitamins, lot of minerals, lot of nutrients and micronutrients and macronutrients. You should go as natural as possible. You should stop snacking. You should avoid the junk food habit of children. It has to be using in the house only. You can prepare all highly nutritious, combinations and permutations in recipes. You can have healthy eating habits. When you sit and dine together along with your children, you can inculcate a lot of healthy eating habits and preferences. All these things will play a major role when the kids also become adults. Time, most important, which no parent has time. So you should have a qualitative time, at least 20 minutes of qualitative time you are supposed to have with your children on a day-to-day basis. This 20 minutes of quality time is not used for abusing the parent, abusing the child, or hitting or punishing or quarreling with the child. Not even advice. This should be utilized without fail by appreciating whatever your kid has done in the past. You should appreciate the effort. You should ask, never give advice during this time. You should ask regarding their opinion on everything. Let it be a flimsy matter, but you have to ask their opinion about everything. That shows your involvement of the child in family matters. That gives lot of importance and a lot of value to the child who is having growing this thing. He is growing in his own self-esteem. And most important, immunization. Immunization, obviously, WHO says prevention is always better than cure. Right from BCG, which is given to prevent tuberculosis, the very most important aspect of immunization, which every parent has to take up the responsibility of immunizing child, because it's definitely sensible to prevent rather than spending by spending few amount of very little quantity of money and preventing the diseases like pertussis, whooping cough, diphtheria, measles, mumps, rubella, hepatitis A, hepatitis B, chicken pox, then typhoid, meningococcal, and now we are all eagerly awaiting for a vaccine for COVID-19. Fortunately, I mean, by the year end, it might definitely come. Some trials have failed in America, but again, there are so many other trials which are going to even phase 3 levels are also, it is in the horizon. So immunization plays a very important role in making a child physically very, very healthy. And then nurturing. How are you going to nurture? Nurture a child with care, with warmth, with affection. See, by changing a diaper also, a diaper of a child also, it can be a very, very, very warm experience for both child and the father. Father changing the diaper, she looks into the eyes, child starts looking at the father, starts smiling. What else you need? So nurturing is definitely taking warmth to a different level. What is grooming? Grooming means you have to inculcate a philanthropic attitude, a spiritual attitude in your child, because, for example, give and then give respect, and the more pleasure is in giving. You should teach the children how to give rather than receive, because there is a lot of pleasure in giving. And this kind of an attitude, maybe a spiritual attitude, right from distributing and sharing whatever you have with your fellow beings, with your fellow people, is much more rewarding than this thing. So coming to this, there are all different types of this thing. Life skills, 10 core life skills as laid down by WHO are self-awareness, empathy, critical thinking, creative thinking, decision-making, problem-solving, effective communication, interpersonal relationship, coping with stress, coping with emotion. Self-awareness, the child has to be aware that he is becoming a male, he is becoming a female. And empathy, they should start developing empathy towards their own friends, their own, what should be the decision making. Creative thinking should be out of the box thinking. Like if there is any novel idea, the novel idea should be there, but how to be more creative. Creative thing means you must allow the child's imagination to run wild. That means taking the child over a fantasy trip, go to Wonderla, go to places, visit places, go to Alice in the Wonderland, or go to Aladdin lamp, all kind of imagination, fantasy world. So you allow them to have their own ideas. You give them time and space, you give them a lot of warmth, then they will come out with beautiful creative ideas. Critical thinking and decision making. Decision means whenever you have to have certain roles are played in the school, and then their skits and skills are practiced in the school about decision making, problem solving, wherein they paint a picture, wherein the picture, and they are giving opportunities and different ways to solve. There are different multiple choice opportunities, choices are put in front of the child, and they allow them to think. They all should be as laid down by WHO. They all should be taught to all the children, all adolescent children, before they jump into the actual world, adult life. Effective communication is most important, because without effective communication, child becomes definitely toothless. Interpersonal relationship, like we always said, how to have interpersonal relationship, coping with stress. When do you want to say yes, you are saying no. When you have to teach the child how to say yes, you have to teach the child how to say no, when definitely you don't need it, when that is not your priority. For everything, the child should prioritize in everything. Coping with emotions, how does the child cope with emotions? Life skills of students are navigated through following stages, like in kindergarten up to stage grade 1, grade 2, grade 3, grade 4, grade 5. Appreciation for self and family and friends. First grade, who am I? What makes me unique? What kind of friend am I? How can I be my best? Honesty, respect, developing a deeper understanding of people. Role modeling, how can I be a good role model? Leadership quality, identifying leadership qualities in own self for the different tribes. Do you have these 10 best practicing and parenting qualities that you have? Yes. What are this thing? You have to have so many things can be given. Avoid mealtime power struggles. Allow the kids to participate in whatever you are doing. Let them understand why of things. Don't say do it because I'm your parent. You should never say I am your parent, that's why you have to listen to me. No, you have to give the reason why you are saying that. Don't label your child. Don't label your child. Definitely that's going to cause a lot of problem in self-esteem. Believe on the positives. Expose your child to all kinds of challenges and their solutions also. Don't bribe your child. If you are not eating, if you are eating, I'm going to give you one ice cream or something like that. Never cultivate the habit of bribing a child. Beware of over snacking. Obviously, that's going to lead to overweight. Establish limits and boundaries. In your family, you have to have certain rules for everything. If this is a study time, the child will definitely study. If it is a play time, the child will play. The child's leisure time, the child will have leisure. For everything, there is a set place. You study in a place, you pray in a place, you eat in a place. Likewise, you sleep in a place. Likewise, for study also, there is a time. For that time, between that time, 1 to 2 hours of time, you are not going to you are going to sit with the child and see that by leading you by example, you are going to teach the child how to be having your own limits and boundaries. Give it time. Time is the best healer. For every situational, for every this thing, if it is not in your control, give it some time. Maybe you can try. Particularly if the child is angry at you, if he is yelling at you, please remove yourself from the scene. Go to the next room. Start seeing your play. You have the choice to react to a child who is yelling at you. If he starts yelling, you also start yelling at him. Where is the point? There is no point. I mean, you have to have this thing. Remove yourself from the situation. Go to a different room and come back and start telling him, give him some different excuses, different thing that I was very busy. I had to have a call. So now you can put forth your argument. And something like that, you have to have this thing, or you might come out with a small arrangement with your son. If you are feeling angry, you will come and touch my finger. Or if I am feeling angry, I will come and touch your finger. My eyes will tell you that you are angry. Your eyes will tell me that you are angry. So that kind of an arrangement, or it could be a fun game. It could be a fun game wherein you start counting. When I become angry, I'll count reverse from 30, 29, 28, 27, something like that. You have to adopt your own strategies to find out and to diffuse the situation. Unless and until you diffuse the situation and tell the principles behind why you got angry and things like that, probably that's a better explanation to calm your child. Make an exercise schedule. Let them have their exercise, let them make it as a fun. So you also, when you start exercising yourself, your child will definitely follow you. Plan your vacations and weekends. It has to be planned because that gives them a lot of ideas how to plan ahead, how to execute them. They'll be full of excitement and this thing. Be consistent. Don't vary your roles daily. We have to be consistent whenever you're dealing with the child, because if you're not consistent, if father gives a different kind of a reasoning and the mother gives a different kind of a reasoning, the child gets confused. So whenever and in the next situation, when you exactly give a reverse direction to whatever your thinking is, the child again gets confused. So be consistent in whatever you are saying, and you should always don't vary your roles daily. Avoid harsh punishment. Punishment is one thing. Spanking the child is one thing which you should avoid, because that the child retains the memory of a father hitting his son with a buckle or with a belt and things like that, which are things, traumatic experiences will put you off your child. Never give harsh punishment to your child. Explain your rules of the house and decisions, why it has to be done, why you have to go to sleep at 9 o'clock, why you are not supposed to do this, why you cannot take your bicycle, or you cannot take your scooter, why, what are the reasons, why you have to explain your rules. Sacrifice your time for the sake of your child. Sacrifice your TV time, your serial time for the sake of your child. You have to sacrifice and set an example. Don't do your child's homework. One thing which child's homework, which should never be done by you. Treat your children with respect. Yes, only when you give the respect, the child will also start giving respect. You say just get out, and the child also will say get out. If you say please come and sit, the child also will say please come and sit. Ultimately, it is the attitude which decides the attitude. So ultimately, what are the tips for good parenting? Be a good role model. Your child learns from you, learns from your behavior, learns from your model. Show respect to your child's feelings, thoughts, and suggestions. Make your child feel loved with your words of praise and your hugs and kisses. Be physical. Get physical, and you can give him a jaduka jappi that diffuses his anger most of the times. If you start smiling and if you kiss him, that diffuses his anger most of the time. Keep your word. Whenever you make a promise, you have to keep your word. If you must break it, apologize and make it up to your child. Yes, your child is also an important person. There is no need. You should not think that you should not apologize. You should apologize if you break your promise, break your word, and you should explain why did you break your promise, and you have to be reasonable in explanation also. Encourage your child's creativity. Creativity has no limits, no bound. Ask questions to stimulate imagination. You have to stimulate the child's imagination, child's brain, in order to come to beautiful results. Build your child's self-esteem by showing appreciation for all genuine efforts, whatever genuine arrived from the time when the child shows even smallest successful work. You have to appreciate hell of a lot. What happens to a teenager is you stop appreciating whatever is little plus point or positive point when he grows into an adult or an adolescent. When he becomes a teenager, if he does even little thing also, the failure of appreciation of whatever he has done definitely loses the self-esteem, and you do lose your self-respect and respect from in his own eyes. Stay involved in whatever. You should know what is going on with your child, what is going on in his mind, what is going on in his physical activity. Know what's going on in your child's life, both at the school and with friends. Keep a track of his friends, keep a track of his activity, keep a track of what he does, everything. Discipline your child fairly, firmly, and with love. Yeah, it has to be fair disciplining. It cannot be unfair. It has to be firm. If you are not had your homework today, you are not going to have your dinner today. And if you are not going to have your dinner today, I will also not have your dinner today, because it's a punishment which I take to myself. If you do not have your dinner, I will also not have my dinner. That is kind of a sort of it dissolves so many egos. So that is why you should always discipline your child fairly, firmly, and with love. Focus on the behavior, not the child. If you are punishing the child, never say I am punishing Rakesh. I am not punishing this thing. I am only punishing his behavior. I am not punishing you. I am only punishing your behavior, which needs to be set correct. That should be the message that should be given to the child. Set up family traditions and make time to do fun things together. You have to have a lot of time together. You have to spend a lot of time together. That is one thing which is binding all of you. Think positively. Never go on negative lines. Always have a positive mental attitude. By expecting the best, you empower yourself and your child to solve problems and achieve goals. Happy parenting. A happy parenting is, there is nothing like a perfect parent. You just have to be a real parent to be in your children's memories tomorrow. You have to be in their lives today. Unless you are in their lives today, you will, sorry to say that you will miss their tomorrows. We have to prepare the child for the path and not the path for the child. Thank you. Thank you for a patient hearing.
Any questions to be answered? We are taking a few question and answers. Anybody wants to ask any questions, you can put it in the chat box so we can unmute and we can take it forward. Okay. How to handle generations gap issues?
Generation gap is definitely will be there because of the technological advances. The way we have been taught, the way we have gone to the school, it is no more the same thing. So generation gap is definitely going to be there. We have to adjust. We have to definitely move forward. We have to be technologically more competent. We have to learn things, whatever things, and in the way which we have been doing, we have to unlearn so many things and we have to relearn so many things. Computers we are not touched in our days, maybe about 3 or 4 decades back, there were no computers and laptops. But even a primary school student has got a computer and a laptop. So you have to find out the technological advantages of using a computer. You have to make abreast and try to bridge the generation gap by learning and being more technical, because the computer learning is very easy and it's very cheap. It's available all the time and you can download everything and you can reproduce it anytime. So there are so many plus points. There are so many negative points also in computer this thing in school learning, because there can be a shortage of schooling teachers. The teacher student ratio may not be different, maybe totally different. There cannot be stuff. There are under shortage of school staff. There can be I'm only giving you some examples of this. So there can be shortage of facilities in a school, whereas these things are not there in e-learning or digital learning. So as an example, when we take e-learning as an example, this is a cause for tremendous differences of opinion. A child will always say, because once you do not know how to open a mobile, you do not know how to answer a call, you do not know how to send a message, you do not know how to copy and paste. There is no harm in, it's not insulting to know all these things in front of a child. The child, a 5-year-old, that's what we say, their brain growth is fantastic, their exposure is extra to the technology is excellent. That's why 4G technology, 5G technology, a child will be able to instantly connect to any part of the world. We'll be struggling hard to make a connection to a son who is settled in abroad. Your 5-year-old 4-year-old definitely does all those things very easily, comfortably. So we have to, unless and until we have to stay in the line, we have to stay in the focus. Unless and until we do it, we'll not be able to go match up to the expectation. The child and adolescent says you do not know anything. Since you do not know anything, definitely I cannot express these things to you. And also one more thing is, if you do not know, you have to learn. And whatever you have learned, you may have to unlearn. You have to relearn if you're not learned anything. If you're not confident, you have to keep learning. That is probably one of the ways by which you can slightly reduce the generation gap. My child is 4 years old and very shy. He does not talk and mingle with anybody. What to do? In that case, again, like I said, a happy child reflects his happy parents. Like a shy child may be reflecting on a shy mother. You have to be more communicative. You will have to definitely communicate more with the child. You will have to be more forthcoming. You have to answer without any admonishing your child or without any ridiculing your child. You have to answer all the questions put forth to you by your child comfortably. I mean, without any hassles, and you should accept whatever is this. And that's what. In personal communication, there are so many ways of improving your own personal communication. Once you start improving your own communication, probably when you start feeling less of shy, probably you will inculcate the same habit, and your child also will not do that. So again, first step starts with you only. Please guide us as to how to handle kids who are alone at home during this pandemic. Yes. See, one thing, fun time need not be study time. Yes, leisure time need not be a study time always. Study, there is always a time of 1 hour, 2 hour, 3 hours. 1 hour, after 1 hour, you have to have a break. In that break, you have to definitely have, involve them physically. Be physical with them, play with them, all kinds of games in the house, indoor games, outdoor games. You have to be involving with them. And if they are alone at home during this pandemic, you have to give them company. Whatever is there, in turn, you will have to share your share your time with them. That's what I said. Spending time is definitely more important than in solving. That will go a long way in solving the child's problem. Please guide us to how to handle kids who are not home. Yeah, we have to show incentives for our son to do some work, but he immediately starts getting interested in the incentives and not the work itself. That's why I've already touched on this. What if a child don't listen to our words? Spending parents are working from home, kids have online classes, how to handle this? Yes, there have to be a time limit. Time has to be there, and you can utilize this time to improvise whatever is there. The time available is very short. You can open up a geography class. You go to an internet, make use of the facility, go to internet, and once you start getting into an animal world, you have to have time for your child. And show them, guide them how to get into the animal world, plant world. That's so very fascinating to see different countries, different this thing on online only. Online only, you can always make it much more interesting. One most important aspect of this is be very, very careful not to leave the child alone with the computer, because a computer has to be in the living room. Computer cannot be in the bedroom, because bedroom, you never know, there will be a lot of privacy for the child. You never know what he does in the front of, when he is alone in front of a computer. So you should always be able to reach your child as early as possible if you suspect there is something missing. This can be a negative influence. Computer can be a totally negative influence, but it's all in your hands to find out what is there, and you have to always keep a track of his abilities and his computing time. How do you handle kids when they are very cranky and obstinate? Anil, you want to say something?
No.
How to having siblings jealousy? There's so many. Want to know how to handle sibling jealousy and to raise the elder kid with self-confidence. See, the question of sibling jealousy or sibling rivalry comes with the first child when the second child is born. Obviously, when the first child is born, and the gap between first child and second child will be around 3 to 4 to 5 to 6 years. When the second child comes into the family, when he is welcome with all open arms, and the attention obviously goes towards the second child. When the attention goes, he starts feeling, the elder child, whoever he is, a son or a daughter, he starts feeling that he's being less attentive. People are not giving more, the same amount of warmth and affection, that they are not loving me, and they are loving the second child more than me. Because of this, because he starts hating his second child, hating his own brother or his own sister. That is called as sibling rivalry. But you'll have to patiently sit, and you have to give some time for the first child also. And you should never ever ridicule him in front of the second child. That fellow is such a genius and you are such a dull-headed goose. No, you should never say that. And if at all you want to tick your child for his bad behavior, for his poor qualities or negative qualities, tick him when he's alone. Never do it in front of others. never particularly do it in front of his own people, his own relatives, his own friends. I have two kids, both have different attitude. Elder kid is very intelligent, younger one little behind compared to her. Sometimes praising elder one feels sad to younger one because I could not do that achievement in this situation. How can we? Absolutely, there is no comparison between a child, between two children. Comparison doesn't exist. If at all there is a comparison, comparison should always be for the good. Comparison should always be for the better. Comparison should always be on a positive note. Never ever ridicule one child in front of the other child and underexploit. So you will have to always highlight his positive approach. Even if he's one iota of a good thing in whatever is that has to be highlighted in front of the other person. Never highlight his inferior qualities or his negative qualities. Never his weakness. If at all you have to this is sit privately along with him and try to improve his weakness. Try to make his weaknesses into his strengths. My child is 4 years old, very shy. My child, what you call situation is losing interest. My child is 4 years old and very shy. That I said. My kids are very active, but due to COVID situation, losing interest in study. Don't worry, madam. It's definitely going to come back to normalcy. Maybe by this month end or October. The schools are getting open, though they say now they are open for high school students, so 9th, 10th, 11th, it's optional, but only 50% they can go for this thing. 50% not for students, but for teachers. All the teachers have to attend all the schools and colleges. The policy is there. It's going to come. This situation, COVID-19 situation, pandemic situation, is not going to be forever. It's only for some time. And once this situation gets better, definitely things will improve. And definitely they will start getting the interest in the study, for which you will also have to put in a lot of more efforts. Whatever you have lost, you will have to gain. When compared to unlearn is difficult. What is the reason behind this? Because it's already ingrained in your brain. Because you have learned it for decades together, it takes time. It takes time to unlearn things. But with when new water comes, the old water has to rush back, has to go get lost. So in that case, we'll have to give more effort, more time, more this thing for the thing to unlearn. Definitely you can do it because it's engraved. It takes a lot of time and patience and perseverance to do that.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Dr. Sir, for this wonderful session. Surely you opened all our eyes, and it was very informative. I hope everyone liked this, and it will be good for taking care of the kids in this time. Thank you, BSc Star MF and Nippon India Mutual Fund for your support. I also want to thank you all again for a wonderful audience and taking out time from your busy schedule to attend this session. If you want to watch this session again or share with your friends, please follow our Facebook page, WealthBox. Also like our WealthBox on Twitter, Instagram, LinkedIn. We'll put this in YouTube as well. Thank you, sir. You can reach out WealthBox or Dr. Ravi in the given contact details. It is on the slide now. We are sharing the slide now. You can make a note of it, and for any queries you can reach out us. Thank you all. Thank you again.